Communication is a necessary part of life. From the casual greeting of a barista to the deep diving, heartfelt conversations with a friend. But communication goes well beyond just words and obvious gestures, as it is influenced by and influences more than we may realize. So, since it is such an important part of our lives, what if we could improve and perfect certain communication skills to help enhance our interpersonal relationships with just a little extra attention to the right areas? Well, I'm here to tell you we can. What is communication training? Well, it is focused training and improvement on certain areas of interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is communication with others. This may involve areas of perception, self-identity, hearing versus listening, verbal versus nonverbal communication, relationships and friendships, emotions and conflict management. Let's break these down. Perception. It is important to consider that we all have our unique view of the world and how we process communication. We need to be mindful of this when interacting with others. Identity. Within the realm of perception is the fact that through our perceived realities, we all develop a unique identity, of which drives our interactions. This is ever evolving through our lives. Hearing versus listening. Have you ever told your husband something and he just didn't seem like he was listening? Have you ever asked your dad a question and he didn't respond after 3 or 4 times? There's a real difference between hearing and listening. We must all strive to truly actively listen so that we can have more productive and rewarding conversations. Verbal versus nonverbal communication. Both are very important and can be equally valuable in our communications. A simple example is saying the word yes or nodding yes. A more complex example would be sarcasm or eye contact and body posture. Relationships and friendships. What makes us tick? How can we be more aware of this in our relationships and friendships? Listening, that's the key. And to get to know the interpersonal communication tendencies of those that are close to you. Emotions and conflict management. Inevitably, within these relationships and friendships, conflicts will arise. The key is to learn how to identify and foster healthy conflicts. Conflict can be a good thing when done in a productive way. Communication is inherently natural, but most of how we interact is a learned behavior. Our language is a good example of this. Humans needed to communicate, but have to learn the language. This concept can be applied to various degrees of communication. Now I'd like to talk about my personal journey in working on a communication skill for myself, and that was group communication. Personally, I struggle in group situations where I'm having to contribute to a meeting or in a social setting. So I wanted to work and find ways to help improve in my communication in those settings. So what did I do? I worked on my active listening. So that was listening very intently to somebody and responding to what they're saying and not getting distracted. I worked on boosting my confidence and believing that what I had to contribute to the conversation was positive. And most of all, I worked on something that I tend to do is overthinking it. When somebody is speaking in a group atmosphere, I tend to think about what I want to say next before I'm actually listening to what they're saying. This makes me more nervous. This also prevents me from truly listening to that individual. So what can this mean for you? Maybe you're a student who is working on communicating in your Zoom classrooms. Maybe you're an established professional that has to lead a group of data scientists and inputting data. We can all benefit from learning how to improve our communication skills, not just so that we can be heard more, but so we can listen to our interactions can be more productive and meaningful. I suggest, like me, you pick one area you'd be willing to go deeper into. Maybe you'd like to work on your active listening and truly listening to the people that you are communicating with. Maybe you want to work on your body posture and your nonverbal communication skills. Or like me, you want to work on group communication and your leadership skills. Spend some time and focus on these areas. There are numerous resources available, books and TED Talks, and just watch how your personal and professional life can improve. To wrap things up, how would this very presentation to you be different or lacking if I didn't spend some time on fine-tuning my delivery, practicing my enunciation, or improving my body posture? Even me being up here today is one step closer to me being a better communicator, and that's exactly what I want for you. Thank you.